Our speaker for today is Group Captain Ashwani Bhakoo Vishish Seva Medal. He's an alumni of the National Defense Academy, Royal Air Force College, UK, University of Berkeley, USA, College of Defense Management, Osmania and Chennai Universities. He is decorated by the President of India and is an ex-fighter pilot of the Indian Air Force. He is trained in assessment of the human resource, enabling quality selection, skill enhancement, and improved productivity. He has commanded a premier fighter unit during the Kargil War, ensuring 100% mission success. The unit was awarded 7 gallantry awards. He was the HOD for the for Leadership and Behavioral Sciences for the Indian Air Force. He has been the visiting faculty for Tata Institute of Social Sciences, conducting courses on counseling skills. Dr. D.Y. Patil, symbiosis and MGM colleges, conducting sessions on emotional wellness and gender sensitization. He has an extensive postgraduate experience and education in psychology, with an emphasis in change management, fundamentals of happiness at work, science of happiness, emotional intelligence, motivation, developing the self, and executive leadership. Presently, he is a practicing psychotherapist, aviation consultant, director of Happiness Unlimited, VMA Software Solutions, and is a trustee of Connecting NGO, a suicide prevention organization. With this, I hand over to our speaker for today, Group Captain Ashwani Bhakoo, VSM.
Thank you very much, Prerna. Colonel Mishra, can you please give me the permission for sharing, please? Screen
Yes,
share.
Virat. Yes, Virat.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Till the time the screen share permission comes to me, let me continue. I've been introduced, and thank you very much, Prerna, for introducing me and also for telling us about Sanjeevani. Aim of today's session here is emotional wellness and self-care. And as we go along, we will realize as to why we are doing this session here today. But before we do that, Mr. Umesh had just about started speaking, just before we had commenced the session, and he had asked the students a question about what are the pressures that you are facing today.
You are co-host now, Ashwani bhai.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much. So the question which he had wanted all of you to ask, I am going to ask you the same question, maybe in another minute or so. Do please think about what are the pressures that you are facing, what are the situations that you are facing, which are happening around you, which are causing pressure to you. So presently, I'm going to share my screen now. I hope all of you can see my screen. Okay, so we are going to talk about emotional wellness and self-care. Before we talk, let me also, put in some points here. During this session, we would like it to be an interactive session, but the interaction would be through your chat box. So in case I would be asking you a few things. As I ask you, please type in your answers into the chat box. If you have any question which you want to ask, once again, please type it into the chat box, and I will use the chat box in the sense I will take the questions from there and try and answer those questions to you. So look into your chat box once in a while when you want to put in a question. If you really want to speak, there is an icon for raising your hands. Do raise your hands, and towards the end of the session, I will try and give you an opportunity to speak so that you can ask your question directly also. Now we come to our session for today, and that is mental health. Why are we talking about mental health? We've always been talking for years and years about physical health. In fact, in every school, in every college, in every institute, there is a physical health teacher. There is a PT teacher. There are sports, there are games. And we do take part in all of them in some manner or the other. Every student in some game, in some form or the other, they play the game. Yes, in most schools, there is also a counselor. Now, however, what we do is we tend to go away from this counselor because we really feel that in case we were to interact with the counselor, somebody would think that something is wrong with me mentally. एक इंडिया के अंदर और स्पेशली हमारे रीजन के अंदर एक परसेप्शन है, एक व्यू पॉइंट है कि अगर आपके माइंड में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो आप में ही प्रॉब्लम है. बट इफ यू थिंक अबाउट इट, जैसे हमारे को फिजिकल प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, फीवर हो सकता है, चोट हो सकता है, फ्रैक्चर हो सकता है, सिमिलरली वी कैन आल्सो हैव अ मेंटल इशू. कहीं डिस्टर्बेंस, कहीं एंगर, कहीं वरी आ सकता है. इट इज अ वेरी natural process. So that is why we are going to deal with or talk about mental health. It has become more important because of the fact of COVID having put us into our homes, locked us up there, and we having to change ourselves drastically in the way we look at things. So here is a definition of mental health. Mental health is nothing else but realizing your own ability. What is your ability? What is your capability? आप क्या कर सकते हैं? When you start realizing that, when you start understanding that, then you can look after your own well-being. It is a state of well-being in which you realize कि आपकी abilities क्या है. Then is that you can cope with the normal stresses of life. There is going to be no part of your life where there will be not some form of stress or the other. Something or the other will be there. कितना stress होता है, it will depend upon situation to situation. But there will never be a status where there will be no stress. So you should be able to handle normal day-to-day stress. Example, getting up in the morning, getting ready, going to school or attending classes, doing the homework. This is a normal system of stress for the student. Dealing with students, dealing with your friends, creating relationships, feeling bad about something, feeling good about something. When you feel bad, there is a certain amount of stress. How do you deal with these stresses of life? These are all normal stresses. Thirdly, when you can work productively. So you know what your capabilities are, you know how to deal with the normal stress in life, and you can produce outputs, work. If you can do all this, mentally you are healthy, no problem. Now we can go one more step to say you can now also start contributing to community, helping others. So when we talk about mental health is you realizing what your abilities are, you coping with the normal stress of life, work productively, and obviously contribute to community. And that is why the need for emotional wellness, causes of distress, warning signs, and self-care. This is the line I will take today for covering the system. Need for emotional wellness. Now, normally this is the slide which I always use for the first part of what is the need for emotional wellness, where I say that anxiety or worry takes a toll on all of us. It affects our work, it affects our family, it affects our social life. And also it was said that it is one of the top 10 causes of disability or even death. And all this was before COVID. But in the last 1 month, a lot has happened in this world. A lot has happened. In our neighborhood, in Afghanistan, there has been a turmoil. There were the United States forces which were there in Afghanistan, and those forces were helping the Afghan army or the nation to become a democratic state. And suddenly, 1 month back, all those forces went back. Here is, you know, what happened there. When we looked at all those forces going back, they left a vacuum. And we are going to talk about this vacuum and how this can affect mental health. Also note the need for mental health. In every 1 hour, a student in India commits suicide. Every 1 hour. About 28 suicides every day. About 10,159 students died in 2018. This is a lot of students. We cannot afford to lose so many students because all these students are people who could possibly go ahead and become researchers, engineers, lawyers, doctors, heading the country. So we cannot afford to even lose one life. And that lives are lost because we don't understand what is mental health. So maybe by our talks, by our interaction with you, we can reach you and make you understand what is mental health so that you can take care of yourself. This is the question which Umesh ji was asking and which I am going to now ask you. What are the pressures that you are facing these days? Any situation which causes pressure. Use the chat box and start writing the answers. Every answer is correct. किसी को कुछ भी pressure हो सकता है. So write your answer in the chat box. What are the pressures that you are facing these days? Family problems? Yes. Anybody else? Anybody else? Any issue? Anything that they may be facing in their life today while they are doing these classes, while we are living in the COVID world? Any other pressures? Anger. Anger, family problems, anything else that you may be facing? Is anybody facing communication problems? This is the most tough family problem. This is the most tough problem. Education pressure, somebody said. Financial issue. So there is financial issue, education pressure, family problems, financial problems. Any pressure because of the environment? Education pressure. So the predominant which is coming up is education and financial problems along with family pressure. A lot of people are feeling education pressure, no moral support, overthinking, anger, communication issues, financial issues. Thank you very much. And here is, what I have on the slide. Absolutely exactly into what you people have said. Very much on the same lines. Expectations. We have expectations. People have expectations from us. I have expectations कि मुझे इतना अच्छा करना चाहिए. I must get so much marks. This is what I should do in my life. Workplace का, school का pressure, education pressure which everybody was saying. Friends का pressure, society का pressure. Then environmental issues. And when we say environmental issues, we are talking about आजकल because of COVID, we can't go outside. Somebody mentioned overthinking, mental pressure. All this is causing mental pressure. Communication issues, बात नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, किसी को मिल नहीं पा रहे हैं, फ्रेंड्स के पास नहीं जा पा रहे हैं, हमको फोन से ही बात करना पड़ता है. We are human beings, social beings. We like to meet. And now when we can't meet, when we are away from each other, it is going to cause communication issues. Financial issues, like everybody was mentioning. confusion, ambiguity, क्या होगा कल क्या होगा, relationship issues, this is where family issues also come up, communication problems within the family, everybody, time management problems, somebody just wrote time management problems, lack of support structure, somebody said moral support nahi hai, culture or value ka problem, personality problems, yes. So there are so many pressures जो हमारे आसपास हैं, and we have to deal with all these pressures. And when I talked about mental health, I said we should be able to handle the day-to-day pressures. Now our day-to-day pressures are what? Financial issues, family issues, study pressure. These are our day-to-day issues. Now somebody also mentioned that we don't know, or I'm having a problem in dealing with my anger. We are told, somebody wrote here very well, we are told what will people think. So that is from expectations. आपको ऐसा ही करना चाहिए, आप कुछ और नहीं कर सकते, नहीं तो लोग क्या सोचेंगे. Yes, that is a very big pressure. लोग क्या सोचेंगे, हमारा वेल बीइंग इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन लोग क्या सोचेंगे. बहुत बड़ा प्रेशर बनता है वो. यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट. बट आई वांट टू आल्सो शो यू समथिंग मोर हियर. Look at this. What are the pressures these people in Afghanistan must be facing? Suddenly, when the enemy attacked them, when the US forces left, see the crowd which is trying to get into one aircraft without tickets, visa, passport. Two people climbed onto the bottom of the aircraft, and when the aircraft took off, notice this. They fell down from the aircraft to their death. One of them was a national level player. Notice this on the right hand side. Women, girls are not allowed to leave their homes. Even if their ankle is seen outside the burqa, they are thrashed by whips. क्या pressure होगा इनके ऊपर. Look at the next scenes. There, all these people are outside the airport. Mothers and fathers are throwing their children over the boundary to the US soldiers कि इनको ले जाओ. There are bomb blasts happening. Can you imagine क्या pressure होगा इनके ऊपर? What must be the normal enormous mental pressure on all these people? अगर हम ये pressure देखते हैं, तो हमारा family pressure क्या लगता है? तो हमारा financial issue क्या लगता है? These people have left all their property, all their money, everything in the bank, and they are just running to survive, to live. Parents are sacrificing their lives so that their small children can survive in some other country. At least they can live. What must be the pressure? Now, लोग क्या कहेंगे यहाँ पे कहाँ आता है? कोई बॉदर नहीं करता लोग क्या कहेंगे यहाँ पे. यहाँ पे सर्वाइवल है. तो जब हम प्रेशर्स को देखते हैं, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड जो प्रेशर, हाँ मैं ये मानता हूं कि जब मुझे अपना फाइनेंशियल प्रेशर दिखता है, अपना रिलेशनशिप प्रेशर दिखता है, तो वो बहुत बड़ा लगता है बहुत बड़ा. लेकिन अगर पूरे वर्ल्ड के कॉन्सेप्ट में देखूं, व्हाट द वर्ल्ड इज गोइंग थ्रू, तो अगर आज मेरे घर में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है या एसी नहीं चल रहा, तो देन आई अंडरस्टैंड कि वो तो कुछ भी प्रेशर नहीं. अगर बाई चांस मैं आज किसी टेस्ट में फेल हो जाता हूं, तो देन आई अंडरस्टैंड वो प्रेशर, वो सर्वाइवल प्रेशर नहीं है. हाँ, मैं टेस्ट दोबारा दे सकता हूं, शायद मेरे 6 मंथ खराब हो जाए, शायद मेरा 1 साल खराब हो जाए, बट आई एम अलाइव, आई एम सेफ, आई कैन रिपीट द टेस्ट. So understanding what is pressure, because that is what affects our mental health. And we are talking about emotional wellness today. Our ability to manage and express the emotions. We are all emotional people. We must be able to express our emotions. Somebody had mentioned गुस्सा आता है गुस्सा, लेकिन क्यों आता है गुस्सा? उसका कुछ कॉज है. कहीं से इरिटेशन हो रहा है, कोई शायद अपने आप से एक्सपेक्टेशन है, या पेरेंट्स का एक्सपेक्टेशन है, या सोसाइटी का एक्सपेक्टेशन है हमसे, और हम वो फुलफिल नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो गुस्सा आता है। अगर मैं चाहता हूं, इफ आई वांट टू बी एबल टू डू समथिंग, और नहीं कर पाता हूं, तो मुझे अपने आप के ऊपर इरिटेशन होता है, फिर अपने आप के ऊपर गुस्सा आता है। लेकिन अपने आप के ऊपर मैं गुस्सा नहीं करता, तो दूसरों के ऊपर गुस्सा निकाल देता हूं। Ability to manage and express our emotions. वरी और गुस्सा, इरिटेशन होगा, लेकिन हाउ डू वी मैनेज देम, दैट इज व्हाट इज इमोशनल वेलनेस। एंड दिस, हाउ डू वी रिकॉग्नाइज? कभी दिन में ऐसे होता है बहुत खुशी, और कभी बहुत गुस्सा। ऑल दीज थिंग्स विच यू सी हियर आर ऑल इमोशन। फ्रस्ट्रेटेड होना, सैड होना, हैप्पी होना, एंग्री होना, बीइंग एम्बैरेस्ड, बीइंग प्राउड, being excited, being kind also is an emotion. Being nervous is also an emotion. So emotional wellness is the ability to manage and express your emotion. How do we do that? This is done from three things. Perception. Perception is our viewpoint. Learning, क्या हम सीख सकते हैं? Today I am thankful to Gyan Bharti, to Umesh ji, to Rotary Club, that we can all speak and interact with each other, because then the experience and the learning that we have from everywhere we can share with you. And because of this sharing, maybe some people out of you may be able to handle their emotions better. So this learning and experience comes from interaction, and our perceptions are there. Now look at this. I want the answers in the chat box, please. Look at the yellow box with white lines and tell me how many squares do you see? कितने स्क्वायर्स दिखते हैं आपको यहां? कोई भी आंसर राइट या रॉन्ग नहीं है. राइट योर आंसर. हाउ मेनी स्क्वायर्स डू यू सी? हाउ मेनी स्क्वायर्स आर यू सीइंग हियर? 17, 16, 17, 18, 16, 16, 17, 18. डीपर देखिए, डीपर देखिए. योर 12th क्लास स्टूडेंट्स, लुक डीपर. थोड़ा ध्यान से देखिए. 21, 21, 17, 24. I got an answer. 24, 21, 24. और डीपर देखिए. 26. I got an answer. 26. 16. Infinity. One person said the answer is infinity. One person said 55. Lots of answers from lots of different people on this. लेकिन मैंने तो सबको एक ही इनपुट दिया है, एक ही स्क्वायर दिखाया है, एक ही डायग्राम दिखाया है, तो इतने डिफरेंट डिफरेंट आंसर्स क्यों आ रहे हैं? काउंटिंग ही तो करना है. और काउंटिंग करने में भी कभी कोई 16 बोल रहा है, कोई 21 बोल रहा है, कोई 23 बोल रहा है, कोई 24 बोल रहा है, कोई इंफिनिटी बोल रहा है. Why are we getting so many different answers from one picture? Why are we getting so many different? One person said 80. Now type out, why do you think all the answers are different? Why do you think all the answers are different? The next question is, why do you think all these answers, different answers are coming? Think about the answer. Why is it that everybody is seeing it differently? Somebody said because everyone has their own perception. Okay. Okay, what does this mean? Everyone has their own perception. What does this mean? What do you think is the reason for all these? different answers because of different viewpoints. The more we think, the more we know. Everyone has their own viewpoint because one thinking is different. Absolutely right. All of you are wonderfully right because everybody has their own viewpoint. Lot of people have written. So my aim of reaching to you is clear, and you have understood that aim, that all of us have a different viewpoint. But कोई गलत नहीं है, ये उनका viewpoint है. Everybody is looking at it from their viewpoint, and therefore they are right in their viewpoint. Now let me show you what is my viewpoint. My viewpoint is there are these 16 small squares. एक ये बड़ा सा स्क्वायर है व्हाइट, तो 17 हो गया. देन ये 2 by 2 के एक स्क्वायर यहाँ पे है 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and then I take 3 by 3 का square. These ऐसे करके. So 27, 28, 29, and 30. Now this is my viewpoint because I am looking at it like this. But all of you are absolutely right. All those who put in the answers कि हमारा viewpoint क्योंकि different है, so we see things differently. Now somebody who said that I have financial problems and somebody who said I get angry, please understand because their viewpoints are different. Somebody has unmuted themselves. Can you please mute? So please understand that our viewpoints are different. That is why we are tending to have different perceptions, and therefore our perceptions are different. तो emotion आता है. Now suddenly if I say all of you are wrong, answer 30 है, आप लोगों को ये भी समझ नहीं आ रहा है. Now when I say this, even I may be getting angry, you may be getting angry कि भाई हमने तो ऐसा टेस्ट नहीं किया है. Why are you saying this to us? So when this happens, emotions start rising. When somebody is making a comment, अरे आपको ये भी नहीं देखना आता है, तो emotions start rising. And that is where emotional problems start coming. Let me show you this little video clip. This video clip indicates जो normal, this is not an Indian video clip, normally happens, you know, between parents, grown up children, when we think parents don't understand us and children think, parents think children don't listen to us and children think parents don't understand us. So this is a clip on that. See the perception. The father is thinking, अरे कुछ करता करता नहीं है, सारा दिन घूमते रहते हैं, घर में भी आके they are on the telephone only all the time. They don't do any work. This is what the parent is thinking. Emotions coming up, fights taking place.
सर वीडियो का ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा है।
Sorry, just a minute, please. Let me check. Let me start sharing again. I will go back and start again. Where do you see if it is coming now?
Yeah, it's coming now.
Okay.
How easy it is for us to forget what it was like when we were once family. The times we shared. How easy it is for us to forget how to love. How easy it is for us to forget how to smile. It's easy to forget.
You know, this part of the clip is very, very important for us to understand when we are thinking about relationship issues. Yes, that there can be arguments at home. Yes, there can be fights. Yes, we can think our parents don't understand us. Yes, sometimes even the parents think that the children don't understand us. But at the end of the day, it is the family only which will stand up in support for each other. Despite the differences between the son and the father, help only comes from a source like this, from the family.
But it's even harder not to love.
Ma.
A question just came up. What if your family really doesn't understand you and doesn't support you? What do you do then? Yes, it is a very important question. Here we have to go down into the fundamentals as to why this difference is there and why is it that the family is not understanding you, or why is it that you feel that the family is not understanding you. This is the time for us to sit down and talk and discuss. Think why the family is doing what they are doing. What is it that they want us to do? What is their expectation from us? And why is it that they have stopped supporting us? Many times there is these differences which take up. But the answer is not running away from home. The answer is not getting angry. The answer only lies in communication. Please understand, I am from the defense services. I have taken part in a war. But even then, we are always ready for war because we are trained. But even then, when a difficult situation comes up, when a warlike situation comes up, even then we tell the government, baat kar lo, discussion kar lo, communication kar lo. Because as a soldier, I know that when I go to war, I can cause a lot of destruction. Lot of people may lose their lives. Lot of destruction may happen. So when we think that somebody is not understanding us, when we think that somebody is not supporting us, the answer to that still is to find a way to communicate. Yes, there may be family problems at home. There may be one of the siblings who is not well. तो शायद पेरेंट्स को उस पे गुस्सा है और वो आप पे निकल रहा है. ये पॉसिबल है. It is possible that this may be happening. Now you have to learn how to deal with this. So therefore, obviously, communication में issues आएंगे. Communication issues will happen. But you know, somebody who's facing this, who is putting it in the chat box, I will be indicating my number at the end of this discussion. We can talk about these things as a one-to-one issue. But remember, the answer still lies in communication. Let's go forward. So our emotions control our behavior and our actions. And when I say this, वो emotional factor है. मेरे को अपने पे गुस्सा हो सकता है because I cannot provide to my children. I want my children to get the best. But if I am not capable of providing, then I will feel angry, irritation, anger. और वो कहाँ पे निकलेगा? घर में ही निकलेगा. क्योंकि बाहर में वो एंगर और गुस्सा नहीं निकाल सकता बिकॉज इट्स अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ माय जॉब. तो जो आ रहा है वो भी बंद हो जाएगा. सो इमोशंस कैन कंट्रोल माय बिहेवियर एंड एक्शंस. जब हम किसी का कोई टाइप का एक्शन देखते हैं, अंडरस्टैंड कि इमोशन क्या है. एंड व्हेन आई से इमोशन, इमोशन मींस फीलिंग क्या हो रहा है. जब हम सोचते हैं कि कोई हमें समझता नहीं है तो हमारे अंदर फीलिंग क्या होता है. फीलिंग होता है इरिटेशन और एंगर का. When I think nobody understands me, then the feeling that comes is anger and irritation, and that anger and irritation controls my behavior. और जब वो मेरा बिहेवियर कंट्रोल करता है तो मेरा लॉजिकल माइंड काम नहीं करता है. माय लॉजिकल माइंड डज नॉट वर्क. And then I start taking illogical decisions. Stress क्या है? हम normal demands we can meet. School जाना, पढ़ाई करना, homework करना, we can meet. But when we get stretched more and more, और ज्यादा stretch हो जाते हैं. Limit है rubber band को stretch करने की, उसके बाद वो टूट जाएगा. When we go beyond that stretching, that is when stress comes. Understand your limits, you know, and this can be at schoolwork or at home. Is stress bad? Let's discuss this. Now here is a diagram which is called, you know, which has been made by a psychologist a long time back. On the y-axis you have performance levels, on the x-axis you have stress level. Now here on the top is called the optimum stress level. Everybody's optimum stress level is different because slowly you get the ability to have higher optimum stress level. But there is a part here yellow में which is zone of boredom. कोई stress ही नहीं है. अरे, if you all of you are in 12th class, for you to do the mathematics of second, third, fourth, fifth class is no stress. वो करोगे तो बोर हो जाओगे. You will feel very bored about it. You will not have any sort of a thing. So now there can be the other side which is zone of distress. And when we are talking about zone of distress, it can be itna stress कि we freeze. So what is optimum stress level? Optimum stress level is for each person is different. When we start, जब हमने शुरू किया, possibly हमारा optimum stress level इतना ही था. Think of a marathon runner. जब वो भागता है, when the marathon runner runs, first time when they start running, maybe they can only run for 500 meters or 1 kilometer. That is their optimum. But slowly and slowly, this keeps progressing and their performance keeps increasing. Similarly, धीरे धीरे से जब आप स्ट्रेस लेते हो, as you are growing up, as you go into different classes, class 1 में कम stress, बड़ा stress as you keep going. Now you're in 10th or 12th class and you're in 12th class. You are very shortly going to face the world. You're going to graduate from 12th class, then go to college and start making a career. So your optimum stress levels, your ability to take stress is going to keep going on. Positive effects of stress. Because when we have stress, heartbeat बढ़ता है. और जब heartbeat बढ़ता है तो क्या होता है? Blood circulation बढ़ता है, digestion बढ़ता है, more oxygen is going to the brain. So thinking is more effective. Arousal feeling takes place. We can help in bringing out the best and more socially acceptable. Also look at your brain. Ever since we were born, with the neurons, thousands and thousands of pathways have been formed. Billions of pathways. And these pathways are formed in the first 6 years, then up to 13 years, and then once again they are formed from the age of about 16 to 21. Which is the pathway which is going to give you pleasure? Which is the pathway which is going to give you pain? All these pathways get formed. And what do? We don't want to go on the pathway of pain. Hard work is pain. But ऐसे ही quickly कुछ कर लिया, वहां से शाबाशी मिल गई, that is the pleasure pathway. So we like to take shortcuts because we want pleasure. But to gain something, sometimes we have to walk on the pathways which give even pain. Hard work, extreme, exercises sometimes are needed to be able to be successful. You can form new pathways also. Remember, Abhi, आपके mind 12 years, you're in 12th class, you're approximately 15, 16 years of age. At this time, your mind is becoming like this. Mera mind, at my age of 63 years, my mind is a bigger jungle than this. In my mind, if I have to make a new pathway, it will take a lot and lot of effort. But in your mind, you can still make very good pathways. But it takes 45 days for the pathway to be formed. Small pathway banane ke liye bhi 45 days of practice is needed. So if you want to change the way you think, if you want to change the way you do your work, if you want to be more disciplined, if you want to have more time capability, practice that for 45 days in your timetable. And then it will slowly become your habit. But 45 days ka pain lena is necessary. Okay. Then we have the brain chemicals. Brain chemicals, we have dopamine, serotonin, endorphin, and oxytocin. But I am going to talk about dopamine. Dopamine basically क्या है? जब हमारे को कुछ अचीवमेंट होता है तो खुशी होती है, तो डोपामिन मिलता है ना. हैप्पी ब्रेन केमिकल्स हैप्पी नहीं रह सकते. आफ्टर सम टाइम दे कम डाउन. if I got good marks in 10th class, I must have felt very happy at that time. But after some time it comes down. Now I have to get another achievement. 11th में भी अच्छे marks चाहिए, 12th में भी अच्छे marks चाहिए, because dopamine levels keep coming down. They will go up, they will come down. Serotonin is basically when you are at the point of achieving something. So those happen. So basically emotion distress के लिए you have pressures, you have emotions which control your behavior, you have stress, and you have brain chemicals. I am now going to show you the warning signs. This is the important part. We know हमारे को pressure क्यों होता है. How should we understand What are the warning signs? Like a doctor can see the warning signs, these are indications that you are under stress. First is if you are eating or sleeping too much or too little. नींद नहीं आ रही है या बहुत ज्यादा सो रहे हो. That could be an indication कि कोई ना कोई emotional pressure है आपके ऊपर. You go away from your friends, you go away from family, आप अलग रहने लग गए. You are always low on energy. सारा टाइम थके ही रहते हो. You are unexplained. बॉडी में पेन्स एक्स हो रहे हैं. हेल्पलेस फील करते हो, होपलेस फील करते हो. Or you start smoking, drinking and having too much of drugs. Or there's always fighting going on with family and friends. All the time. You know, once in a while fighting hona, once in a while late slona, या once in a while no energy होना, that is not an indication of emotional pressure. But अगर वो सारा टाइम वैसे ही रहता है, then that is an indication of emotional pressure. Confused, upset, angry, worried all the time. Negative emotions all the time. कुछ नहीं हो सकता, ये कंट्री तो ऐसा ही है, ये तो स्कूल ऐसा ही है, ये तो फैमिली ऐसा ही है. When you are continuously having negative emotions, severe mood springs, hearing voices, thinking कि अब तो मुझे जीने का कोई फायदा नहीं है, or you can't even do day-to-day tasks. I'm giving you an example of a case I was handling. A young, very, very vibrant young girl sent by her parents to study in America to do her post-graduation. She did her post-graduation and now she got a job. But suddenly, college students से अभी job करनी है, boss की requirement, time की requirement, work output चाहिए, घर में अपने आप रहना है, hostel तो है नहीं है अभी, घर ढूंढो, घर का काम करो, अमेरिका में हो, अकेले हो. तो she became so much under stress कि उसके daily tasks नहीं कर पा रही. She stopped, doing the daily tasks of खाना बनाना, looking after herself, going to the office. She froze. The situation came to such an extent that her friends had to send her back to India on a wheelchair. Young 23, 24-year-old person. It can happen to all of us when we get so much pressure. But that is when we need to learn. See the warning signs. अगर मुझे warning signs दिख रहे हैं, I must take action. First aid लगाना जरूरी है. I will cover to the actions to be taken. And if we can't help ourselves, we must go to a professional. So now we will let us talk about self-care. लोग कहते हैं कि अगर अपने बारे में सोचोगे तो वो selfishness, वो selfishness नहीं है. If I am not fit, मैं दूसरों का ख्याल कैसे रखूंगा? How will I take care of others? So the practice of taking an active role in protecting your own well-being and happiness. Yes, my parents, my friends, my colleagues will look after me. And I am taking care of them also. But at the same time, please understand, it is important for me to take care of myself. अपने लिए टाइम निकालना बहुत जरूरी है. अपना थोड़ा ख्याल रखना बहुत जरूरी है. It is not selfishness. It is part of self-care. How do we look after yourself? If we find that we are under stress, if we are going under stress, then how do we take care of ourselves? Connect. First thing is connect with somebody. आप किसी ना किसी को जिसको ट्रस्ट करते हो, उससे बात करो. If you are feeling any of, बहुत ज्यादा सो रहे हो, बहुत ज्यादा गुस्सा आ रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा वरी हो रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर आ रहा है, then the first action is to connect. Connect कीजिए किसी के साथ. And if you find that you cannot connect to somebody because आजकल हम nuclear family बन गए हैं, then please connect to a professional. There is no harm, like for a fracture, for a headache, for a cut, हम डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं, मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल के पास जाके उनसे बात कीजिए. But connect. Definitely connect. गिव योर टाइम, वर्ड्स एंड प्रेशर्स. अगर आपके किसी फ्रेंड को, कुलीग को, फैमिली मेंबर को ये प्रेशर हो रहा है, तो यू गिव योर टाइम टू देम. टाइम इज द मोस्ट प्रेशियस कमोडिटी. गिव इट टू देम. उस टाइम फोन बंद कर दीजिए, आधा घंटा 1 घंटा उनके साथ बिताइए. एंड व्हेन यू आर हेल्पिंग देम, यू विल फाइंड दैट यू विल आल्सो फील हैप्पी. सो गिव, टेक नोटिस. छोटी छोटी चीज देखिए. आई वॉन्ट टू बाई अ BMW कार. BMW तो नहीं मिली तो मैं दुखी हो गया. ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता है. क्या है मेरे पास? I already have a car, I have a house, I have children who are settled down. There's so much for me to be happy. Notice these things rather than always saying, ये मेरे पास नहीं है, ये मेरे पास नहीं है. Keep learning. You are youngsters, आप लोगों के लिए कंप्यूटर पे काम करना, ये Zoom, Microsoft Teams, इन सब पे काम करना is so easy. For people of my generation जो टाइपराइटर पे काम करते थे, for us to shift to all this is very difficult. But if I don't learn, then I'm not challenging myself. And if we challenge ourselves every day, we will be able to take care of ourselves. Be active, always be active. And then there is an important part which is acceptance. There are some things which you can change and there are some things which you cannot change. If my height is 5 feet 7 inches, अब वो बदल नहीं सकती. Accept it. Yes, if I can change my thinking, I can do that. So accept what you can't change and accept what you can change. And finally, अगर ये सब अपने आप नहीं होता है, तो go to a professional. Gratitude is one major thing. Now I showed you, photographs of Afghanistan. Be grateful that you are in India. Be grateful that you are at home. Be grateful that you have a school which is taking care of you. Be grateful that you have friends. Be grateful that even if you have financial problems, you can still survive. So much to be grateful for. And gratitude will bring you happiness and emotional wellness. This is a research which was carried out, and when we feel gratitude, we get into positive emotions. We get into positive emotions. More alert, more alive, more awake we are. Also, as we go forward, this research also showed that physically our immune system becomes stronger. We have lower blood pressure. We can sleep better. And also, we are more compassionate and helpful to others. So just because I am grateful for what I have, so many positive things happen to me. I want to show you this little video clip on kindness because this affects dopamine in our mind. real kindness is when you are ready to give up something that you need. बहुत से हम लोग बोलते हैं कि हम दूसरों की तब मदद करेंगे जब हम रिच हो जाएंगे, जब मेरे पास पैसे आ जाएंगे तो मैं दूसरों की मदद करूं. No, it is not necessary to wait till that time. आपको सिर्फ पैसों देके ही किसी की मदद नहीं कर सकते. आप अपना थोड़ा सा टाइम देके, अपनी थोड़ी सी सपोर्ट देके उनकी मदद कर सकते. And when you do that, what is happening is dopamine is being triggered in your mind. Those hormones which provide happiness are being triggered in your mind. They are running through your body. And when they run through your body, it makes you feel well because it energizes your body. So be grateful and be kind if you want to be emotionally well. Then all the irritation and anger will also start going away. फिर जब लोग हमारे लिए कुछ नहीं करते या लोग हमको नहीं समझते, we still should be continue to be kind and grateful. I am grateful कि even अगर मेरे साथ कोई मेरे साथ लड़ाई कर रहा है, I am grateful कि actually मैं उससे लड़ तो सकता हूं, कोई तो है. But the fact otherwise, like earlier, like the lockdown period, मैं अपने घर में अकेला ही कैद हो गया, that causes more pressure. So be kind and be grateful for what we have. That is what will give you a large amount of emotional wellness. So what is the need for emotional wellness? We need it because all of us are affected by it. Kahin na kahin, we will be affected by this thing. And what is emotional wellness? When you can understand your capabilities, when you can handle day-to-day stress, and when you can produce things, and when also you can help society. There can be many causes of distress. आप बहुत causes हो सकते हैं, right from family pressures to financial pressures to educational pressure. उसके साथ लड़ने से तो वो प्रेशर जाएगा नहीं. The only way that pressure will go is learn how to handle your emotion, learn how to handle that pressure. If you are not being able to study, find out why you are not being able to study. Maybe you don't have the discipline to sit down and study for a period of time. Maybe you don't have a plan. Maybe you don't have a timetable. Maybe you have not understood the subject. If you have not understood the subject, ask your teacher, ask a friend. Financial issues, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Learn to live within your means. Yes, everybody wants the best in the world. You can get the best. Be ambitious. You will get it one day. Family pressures अगर distress cause कर रहे हैं, the only answer is communication. Communicate. Warning signs I showed you. Too much of worry, too much of not being able to sleep, all the time going away from friends, not talking to friends, not talking to family, using a lot of drugs, using alcohol. All these are indications. When all these happen, not being able to do day-to-day work, when all these happen, then go into self-care. And the biggest way of self-care is taking care of yourself. Sit down, give yourself time. थोड़ा सा self-care करो, selfishness नहीं है. If you are not being able to sort out something, talk to somebody. Exercise a little bit. Open up. Accept what cannot be changed. And if still it is not working, that is the time you seek professional help. So that is the way you go forward. These are my details. You can note down my details. You can write to me or you can mail to me and ask me any of the questions in case we have not been able to answer them here. I am now going to be opening up for taking questions for the next 10 odd minutes, and then we will wind up. In case you have questions, you can put it in the chat box or you can raise your hand and we will give you an opportunity to speak and I will try and answer the question. You can note down these details because I'm going to then stop sharing now. Okay, Khushi Seth seems to have raised her hand. Khushi, you can unmute and speak, please.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I want to know how can I understand myself that I'm not mentally fit or anything?
Yes. Good question, Khushi. To be able to understand yourself, आप अपने आप को सिर्फ 4 questions पूछिए. First, do you know what are your capabilities and abilities? So sit down and write down your capabilities and abilities. उसके लिए you can take inputs from your colleagues also, from your parents also, from your teachers also. Because many times हमको अपनी abilities नहीं दिखती. Others can see our abilities. So when we understand हमारी ability क्या है, that is the first point. The second point is day to day life के आप pressures ले पा रहे हो कि नहीं. Like now you are in school. So 2-3 pressures you will face. One is, you know, the standard system of learning तो अभी है नहीं, सब school तो नहीं जा रहे, so you are having to learn at home, you are having to do online classes. Are you being able to understand? Are you being able to do that day to day work? वो pressure cause कर रहा है आपके ऊपर, करेगा pressure. Similarly, staying at home के अलग pressure. Because now while you are studying, doing your class also, कोई ना कोई घर में आपके साथ interfere भी कर रहा है, कोई ना कोई disturbance भी हो रहा है. So वो भी एक normal pressure बन गया. So how are you handling this? थोड़ा irritation, थोड़ा anger, थोड़ा pressure होगा, but that does not say that you are emotionally unwell. So when these small things happen, now this is the second point to assess. Third point is, आप जो मेहनत कर रहे हो, studies कर रहे हो, उसका कुछ output हो रहा है क्या? No, it is not necessary that when we study for 10 hours, the output will be 90%, 95% marks. It is not necessary. Sometimes the output may not commensurate with the work that you are doing. So अगर वो output इतना अच्छा नहीं है, again you need to take some guidance from somebody. But अगर normal output है, if you are able to do normal output, if you are able to know your capabilities, take daily pressures and give an output and still contribute to the house, you are emotionally well. You don't have to worry about wellness. ये 4 question अगर आप अपने आप को पूछोगे, तो then you will not have a problem.
And if I'm finding I'm not well,
Then 3 or 4 things is what I covered. First, if you feel that you are not well, then first thing is you have to talk to somebody, communicate, either with a best friend or with somebody at
I
home.
don't have anyone to communicate.
Then go and talk to a professional. आपके स्कूल में काउंसलर होगा, आप अपनी टीचर से बात कर सकते हो. And अगर टीचर से बात नहीं कर सकते हो, then the number like I shared. Now why we are doing this session is we are giving this opportunity to all of you to connect to us. See, जब हम लोग आपकी बात सुनते हैं, तो we don't judge you. Remember, we are not people who judge you. We accept you the way you are. We understand that there may be problems and you want to communicate. So we don't judge you. We accept you. तो किसी ना किसी से बात करो. थोड़ा एक्सरसाइज करने से भी आपके माइंड के पॉजिटिव हार्मोन्स आते हैं. So do
So
that
can I
also.
talk to you?
Yes, please. I have given you my
Okay.
number. You're welcome to call.
Okay.
Okay, don't worry. Any other question I can answer? I think there's one here. I have a problem. I can't communicate. I'm scared of being judged. Okay, now this is again a very interesting question. You know, when you say that you are scared of being judged, yes, the world is very judgmental. हम लोग बहुत लोगों को जज करते हैं. हम बहुत लोगों को कहते हैं, अरे तुम ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, this is how you should behave. Again, that is something we have to learn to ignore. Slowly we learn to ignore these things. अपने बारे में जब आपका सेल्फ इमेज बन जाएगा, और सेल्फ इमेज कैसे बनेगा? सेल्फ इमेज बनता है when you start learning how to know yourself. Now, many of the students that I interact with, I ask them to write about themselves. You know, हम स्कूल में, कॉलेज में essay लिखते हैं. We write an essay on my visit to so and so place, on the political situation. Why can't I write an essay on myself? Who am I? So when I start writing an essay about myself, then I know ये मेरी qualities हैं. ये मेरी कैपेबिलिटीज हैं, दिस इज हाउ आई कम्युनिकेट, और उसमें ये भी पता लगता है कि ये मेरी वीकनेसेस हैं, और वीकनेसेस अगर मुझे पता लग जाती है तो आई कैन इंप्रूव माय वीकनेसेस, आई कैन वर्क ऑन देम, इंप्रूव माय वीकनेसेस. सो व्हेन वी मेक अ पॉजिटिव सेल्फ इमेज ऑफ आवरसेल्व्स, देन दुनिया से डरना हम कम हो जाए. Then if like now today I am speaking to you, 60 to 70 people are on this. Do I think that people will not judge me? They will judge me. कैसा था talk, कैसा था बात, क्या बोल रहे थे, was it worth it, was it not worth it? Lot of people will judge like that, but I am not worried of this judgment, because I know my subject, I know what I am passing to you. I am trying to do my best to convey my thoughts to you so that it may help somebody. So I am not worried about people judging me. Similarly, you have to come to a point where you are confident about who you are. आप 12th क्लास स्टूडेंट हो, अपने आप को किसी के साथ कंपेयर मत करो. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड यू आर यूनिक. आपकी यूनिक लाइफ है, आपके यूनिक फीचर्स हैं, आपका यूनिक थॉट पैटर्न है, तो आपको वरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. कोई कुछ बोलता है, दो चीजें हैं, अगर आपके बारे में कोई कुछ बोले तो दो चीजें सोचो. इफ समबडी मेक्स अ कमेंट ऑन यू, फर्स्ट थिंग, अगर वो बोल रहा है कि मुझे मैथ्स नहीं आता, तो क्या ये सच है? अगर सच है तो मैथ्स को इंप्रूव करने की कोशिश करो. अगर सच नहीं है, फॉरगेट इट, वो ऐसे ही कमेंट मार रहा है. सो ask yourself this question. You cannot live just on the comments of others. Okay, so don't worry about being judged. You do your best, and that is more than enough. Any other question which is there? Here is another question which I have, and that question is, due to my anger, I started hurting myself. After that, I made myself understand not to do so. But at that time, I don't know what goes, and I used to do the same thing again and again. Yes. जब ये why do we hurt ourselves? It's a very, very important question. Why do we hurt ourselves? We don't want to hurt ourselves. We hurt ourselves क्योंकि हमारे को कोई दूसरा रास्ता नहीं दिख रहा है. हम सोल्यूशन ढूंढ रहे हैं अपनी प्रॉब्लम का, और हमें सोल्यूशन नहीं दिख रहा है. और जब हमें सोल्यूशन नहीं दिखता है तो हमको एक ही चीज होती है, अपने आप को हर्ट करनी. बेसिकली यू आर लुकिंग फॉर अ सोल्यूशन. अगर आपको सोल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा है, प्लीज टॉक टू समबडी. प्लीज, अगर आपके फैमिली में बात नहीं कर सकते हो, फ्रेंड सर्कल में बात नहीं कर सकते हो, टू टॉक टू अ प्रोफेशनल. प्लीज टॉक टू समबडी. हार्मिंग योरसेल्फ, यू विल नॉट फाइंड द सोल्यूशन. और वो एंगर का वो भी है, जब आप किसी से बात करते हो, दे विल टेल यू व्हाट टू डू अबाउट योर एंगर, व्हाट टू डू अबाउट योर इरिटेशन, एंड दैट वे you will be able to emotionally handle yourself well, and you will also be able to not harm yourself. So if you are doing this again and again, like somebody has messaged, please understand that the best way to do is to talk to somebody, take some professional help. Please don't be ashamed to take professional help. हम headache के लिए, fracture के लिए help लेते हैं. So there is no harm if you are under tension to call somebody, to talk to a counselor and take help. Please do that. I think we are coming to the end of our time now. If you have any more questions, you have my email ID which I showed, and my telephone number. You are welcome to send me a WhatsApp message or an email, and I will connect with you, and I will try and answer your questions. For this session today, I want to thank the school and all of you to join up here and be present today. I want to also thank Umesh ji for organizing this, for Colonel Mishra for creating Sanjeevani and getting this forward, and for Rotary Club of India and Prerna for all that they do for reaching students so that we can do something good for them. Thank you very much, everybody, for today. I now hand over to Colonel Mishra.
Thank you, Ashwini ji. It is amazing and interesting. As usual, along with the students, we are also learning a lot of things, and every time something new. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the students of the Gyan Bharati Balika Vidyalaya. The number which logged in was, I think, 67 to 70 something, and 856 numbers are there. So my compliments to all the students, which I requested to you to continue till last. So you have exceeded my request. Not taking much time, I invite Rotarian Umesh Kumar Jalan, who is the chief coordinator of this program, to extend formal vote of thanks. So over to Umesh.
Once again, good morning to everybody. Thank you, Colonel Misra. आज का प्रोग्राम में जैसा कि भाकू जी ने बताया कि उन्होंने बहुत सारी बातें बताई, और एक बात जो मैं बारीकी से पकड़ पाया वो ये है कि आप सबको वो बहुत सारी बातों को उन्होंने बताया है, लेकिन सम ऑफ यू कैन टेक द बेनिफिट ऑफ ये सब दिशा निर्देशों से, और ये सब जो आपने जाना है उससे आप में से कुछ लोग इसका लाभ ले पाएंगे अपने जीवन के ग्रोथ के लिए। तो ये बहुत ही समझने लायक बात है कि जो हमें जो है अपने प्रेशर्स, इमोशंस वगैरह को कंट्रोल कैसे करने का है, कैसे प्रेशर रिलीज करने का है, उन्होंने बहुत सारी बातें बताई। लेकिन करना, उसको कंट्रोल करना, अपने आप को पहचानना, अपने आप को समझना, वो आपको ही करना है। ओके, और आपको ये समझ में आता है कि आपको प्रेशर कितना ज्यादा है या कितना कम है, आपके इमोशंस कितने स्ट्रांग है, कितने कम है। और ये सारी बातें बहुत अच्छी तरह से उन्होंने वीडियो के जरिए और अपने वक्तव्य के जरिए आप तक पहुंचाई है। लेकिन अब काम आपका है इन बातों को जानकर कि आप उसको अपने लिए कितना उपयोग में ला सकते हैं। और इस जो है यूनिक सेशन के लिए मैं ग्रुप कैप्टन अश्विनी भाकू जी का बहुत बहुत आभार मानता हूं कि उनके इमोशंस ऐसे हैं कि उन्होंने अपने जीवन में ग्रो किया है। और आप सब से ये अपेक्षा है इन सेशंस के माध्यम से कि आप भी अपने जीवन में ग्रो करें। और उनको बहुत खुशी होगी, इस बात की खुशी है कि यदि आप लोगों में से कुछ भी अपने जीवन में बहुत ऊपर जा पाए तो उनको बहुत खुशी होगी कि उन्होंने कुछ अच्छा काम किया है। तो इस उनके मनोभाव के लिए मैं उनको तहे दिल से उनका आभार मानता हूं और उनका शुक्रिया करता हूं। आप सब आज के इस सेशन में ज्वाइन कर पाए बिकॉज ऑफ सैली मैडम के कोऑर्डिनेशन के कारण। तो मैं सैली मैडम को धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उन्होंने ये सेशन आप सब तक पहुंचाया और आप सब इस सेशन में ज्वाइन हुए। मुझे दिख रहा है कि करीब 90 बच्चों ने और शिक्षक ने रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाया, लेकिन इसमें से कुल 70 करीब ही ज्वाइन कर पाए। तो आपको ये सेशन यदि अच्छा लगा होगा तो बाकी बच्चों तक इस बात को पहुंचाएं कि हमारे ये सेशंस जो हैं वो बहुत ही आपके लिए लाभदायक हैं। और आप जो हैं वो जो वंचित रहे हैं इस सेशन का लाभ लेने के लिए, तो उन्होंने कुछ एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस हुई किया है, ये उन तक पहुंचाएं बात। जैसा कि भाकू सर ने बताया कि आपकी कुछ भी परेशानियां हो और आप उसको हैंडल नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो उन तक उन्होंने अपना नंबर भी शेयर किया, ईमेल भी शेयर किया, या आप अपने टीचर्स जो हैं उनको बताएं और उन तक हमारे तक पहुंच सकते हैं। और जिनको भी एक्सटर्नल हेल्प चाहिए और आप अपना खुद से अपने समस्याओं का निदान नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो वो एक्सटर्नल हेल्प आप भाकू सर से जुड़ के कर सकते हैं। मैं आप सभी को धन्यवाद देता हूं कि आप ये सेशन ज्वाइन किए और भाकू सर के वक्तव्य का लाभ लिया आप सभी ने। तो इस सब के लिए मैं आपको शुभेच्छा देता हूं। मैं धन्यवाद करता हूं कर्नल मिश्रा का, जो हमारे इस संजीवनी प्रोग्राम को जो है संचालन कर रहे हैं और बहुत अच्छी तरह से वो संचालन करते हैं। और मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ प्रेरणा गायकवाड़ का भी, जिन्होंने आज के हमारे गेस्ट स्पीकर को का इंट्रोडक्शन दिया आप सभी को। आप सभी को फिर से शुभेच्छा देता हुआ मैं अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूँ। थैंक यू। ओवर टू कर्नल मिश्रा।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू। बिफोर आई वाइंड अप द सेशन, मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा जो हमारे ज्ञान जो स्टूडेंट्स जुड़े हुए हैं उनको मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि एक चीज आप याद रखिए कि यू आर द फ्यूचर ऑफ इंडिया, यू आर फ्यूचर ऑफ नेशन। और आपका स्वस्थ रहना, मानसिक रूप से, शारीरिक रूप से, स्पिरिचुअली, सब तरीके से आपका स्वस्थ रहना बहुत जरूरी है। और जैसा कि ग्रुप कैप्टन अश्विनी कुमार भाकू जी ने बोला हुआ है कि उनका नंबर, उनकी ईमेल आईडी आपके लिए एक्सेसिबल है, तो आप प्लीज इसका पूरा फायदा उठाइए और अपने आप को मेंटली फिट, फिजिकली साउंड एंड मेंटली एंड स्पिरिचुअली रोबस्ट इस तरीके का बनाइए ताकि जिंदगी की सारी जो चुनौतियां हैं उनका भरपूर अच्छे तरीके से आप सामना कर सके। ज्यादा समय नहीं लेता हुआ एक बार फिर से ग्रुप कैप्टन अश्विनी कुमार भाकू जो आज के सेशन के स्पीकर थे और जिन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से समझाया, उनको धन्यवाद देता हुआ, उमेश जी जो चीफ कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं उनको धन्यवाद देता हुआ, जितने भी बच्चे जुड़े हुए हैं अभी तक उन सबको धन्यवाद देता हुआ आज के सेशन को मैं समाप्त करने की अनुमति चाहता हूँ ग्रुप कैप्टन अश्विनी कुमार भाकू जी से। सो अश्विनी जी, if permission is there, I would like to conclude. Thank you,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you,
nice,
everybody.
everyone. Thank you. Have a great day.
थैंक यू।